G'day guys, Scott from FatB Trader here, just bringing you a quick update on this the euro dollar US dollar trade that we took. Now this is one of those examples where, trading from the longer term chart right here and actually taking a short term position can really pay some dividends. I mean, you can see on this longer term chart, I carried this short for ages, and I carried it through losses, and this is pretty substantial up here, but I did have two other trades offsetting it, so basically wasn't actually that concerned when it was at this point. But if you're looking at the amount of movement and the amount of time that we've basically accepted this shit trade basically for a loss, and then turning that round into my more short-term style of trading, which is what I actually prefer. It looks like this is working out so far. This will be the first level to test. Now if it gets past this level here, I'm actually hoping this sorts itself out pre-news, because there's a crap load of news in here, as I mentioned on the previous video, that I really don't want to get caught up in, but it may actually push it to our target much earlier. Now you can see on the shorter term chart, the daily pivot is up here, the traditional pivots. These other lines here are the cam pivots. That's something I use for my shorter term trading. But yeah, look, it's just gone past the cam pivot, daily pivot, but we're still, this is the one that most people look at, which is why I've got it on my chart. Again, I don't necessarily follow, I don't necessarily believe in the power of pivots or whatever, but I believe that other people believe that, and therefore it's something I keep an eye on to actually see where I believe price action is going to go, if that makes sense. So I predominantly follow price action, but I do put other indicators on my charts, obviously, just to see where other people are looking, see what they're looking at, and that helps me anticipate what they're actually going to be thinking short term, which is why I think I'm actually probably a much better short term trader than a long term trader. Long term trading, makes me a bit neurotic generally, but what I've been doing the last few weeks, as you've seen, is just taking some much longer term charts, give you guys a chance to get on to some of these, because I know that not all of you can actually get these shorter term trades off. You got full-time jobs or whatever, but yeah, just been trying to do some longer term trades, get you guys on board with that, and yeah, look, and they've been pretty relaxed, as you've seen. I mean, I think we've taken, I don't know, 10 trades or something over the last, month and a half, which has been fairly relaxed from my point of view, and it's given me a chance to have some rest and relaxation, but that's all beside the point. But basically what we're looking at here is we're looking at this to come up, test the pivot, and basically clip out around about 25 points of profit, risking 10 points to the downside. Now if you go back to the longer term chart, you can see pretty good level of support back here. If it goes through there, and you've got this rising level of support here, so if it goes through there, you're wrong, get out, right? It's really, really basic, really simple stuff. When in doubt, stay out, as they say. If you get down here, this is the doubt zone, where people will just lose the freaking plot. So yeah, basically stop nice and tight, under a support zone. Yes, we may be stop hunted, but this is our point of profit. Again, I'm just going off this pivot point here, nice and simple. Yeah, we could even, if you really want to get really sexy, in the last 20 seconds of this video, do a fib expansion, bring this up here, bring this down here. That'll give us a good target for the longer term, so maybe the 161 level, which is about another 60 points away. Too far from me today, but we'll give you an update as this trade progresses, obviously. So we're coming back to this trade. You can see here we've been stopped out of this trade and we've actually re-entered. This is a 1 hour chart. As discussed earlier, we entered on the break. and test of support, and our profit target was about here. It was about 25 points, just above the day's pivot. So 25 points. In fact, it was probably around the day pivot. I'd have to look at the picture exactly. And our stop level was just below this support level here. I think it was about there. Now this is the really shit thing about some brokers and Forex in general. There's this thing called the spread, and around news events, the brokers love to widen it. And you get caught out, which is why I really can't stand trading around news events. But let's just zoom into the 5-minute chart and take a look at what happened. In fact, we might even go to the 1-minute chart just so you can see, because this gets a bit messy. I'll just pause it and load up the 1-minute chart. Righto, so if you have a look at this here, you can see back on the 5-minute, looks like, yep, we got pretty close to our target and everything was good. But when you actually get in here on the 1-minute chart, you can see what happened here. Prior to the news, we were up around the same price we are at the moment, and just before the news we had this massive spike down and massive spike up. Now that's actually the spread, and a lot of people are getting stopped out. Basically, it causes this sort of volatility. Now the spread is really up to the market makers or the people feeding the prices to the brokers. So it's not all the broker's fault. I mean, obviously, there's two people on either side of every trade at all times. So if someone doesn't want to take the trade, or they're prepared to take it but at a much higher cost or lower cost, then the person in the middle or the person holding the trade, obviously, you don't have a lot to sell into. Now, I don't understand why I stopped out personally, because my stop even was, it was down here. It was down below this level, which you can check on the site where we posted the stop levels. So my guess is what's happened is it's come down. It may have, the spread may have touched the may have touched the stop level, and what's actually then occurred is the stop's triggered, and by the time the broker has been able to execute the order, the price is back up here again. So pretty shit, really. Pretty shit, considering it basically got to our target in the minutes afterwards. Yeah, pretty ordinary. So look, we are still in the trade because I still think we've got a valid setup here. I'm just not totally thrilled about having this sort of action. Like basically, really, if the smart place to have your stop is 20 points below this, but I'm kind of regretting getting back into this trade actually. So I may close it out depending on what the price action looks like. Yeah, in the next few minutes. So we'll come back and have a look at this in a moment, just to sort of walk you through, what I'm thinking about as I'm taking these trades. But basically at the moment it is holding above this level, which was the level that we talked about being, sort of that key. There we go, right there, being that sort of key, I guess, inflection point. So I would think, we'll see it move up. At least to where that initial target was, which was the missed daily pivot, the purple line, and then it may move higher. So we'll come back in a few minutes and have a bit of a look. Righto, so we're back with that trade, the second trade, and you can see I've cut that. It's fallen through this level, and it's just like fallen through this support level here. And not really interested in partaking of this any longer. The interesting thing though is if you have a look at the trade, and you can see there, yep, just above the pivot and just below that line there, or just above that line there actually. So it could have got there, Look, that might not be as bad as I think. Just above that line, Yeah, it probably did get there, but you know, obviously, we didn't take the maximum loss on that trade because you know, around news the brokers have a lot of difficulty actually filling orders. So um, even though it's come down and touched that level, apparently. Oh, look, and now it's going to rally. Yay! This is the beautiful thing about trading. Sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen. So nevertheless, you've got to cut your losses, and yeah. So the main reason I got out of this third trade was just due to the fact that it's broken support, and news is coming up, and I just really don't want to be part of it anymore today. I've done my dash, and that is that. So that's it for now, guys. Just an interesting lesson. Just got to really watch yourself trading around news, because you tend to get screwed on the spread just because it's so volatile, and no one wants to take positions during that time. In a normally liquid market, people freak out and pull all their orders. So look at this thing, hey. Looks good on the 5-minute chart, doesn't look so good on the 1-minute chart. This is what I was talking about, guys. If you're having a look at this, this is bouncing around. This is bouncing around bloody 20 points at a time. This is right down here a second ago at 55. Now it's up at 75. Like, 20 points within sort of 20 seconds. And this is actually, here we go. So now this is going to go frickin' gangbusters, is it? Okay. Yep, having a look at that. Okay, let's move this out of here so we can see what's going on. Oh, look at that. You've got to be shitting me, don't you? Oh my god. Hello. Oh boy. Oh, jeez. Look at this market. It is just freaking crazy. Look at that. I mean, that's up 50 points within 2 minutes. And now it's probably going to come down 50 points. Jesus Christ. That's just, I mean, that's pretty nutty. You've got to admit. I mean, look at that. That's just out of control. Out of control. It says the news came out then, but it didn't actually came out. Like, it actually came out 3 or 4 minutes ago. Wow. Well, there's another lesson today, guys. It's really irrelevant. I mean, I could get into a trade here, but it'd be just gambling. Degenerate gambling, basically. Not worth it. Alright, guys, just wanted to see if I could capture that. I really wanted to capture what was happening here, but I couldn't get Camtasia up quick enough. The price was going just sort of going crazy. The screen couldn't keep up with it. So interesting, hey? Interesting. Alright, guys, till next time, trade well.